Y'all have been asking for it, so here it is. The full breakdown of my Super Formula Light race in Monza. As usual, we start off with our qualifying lap. This is actually the first of 2 laps. We'll get into why my second lap was slower later.
Okay, here comes your first time lap.
This was an open setup race, so obviously I drained all the fuel out. And into turn 1, I like to brake between the 150 and 100 meter boards, depending on just how late I want to brake. If I want to brake early, I brake at 150. If I want to risk it and brake late, I brake at 100. I don't actually know the best line through Curva Grande, so I just keep to the inside. And here I like to brake at or right after the 100 board. This first lap I wasn't really pushing as hard as I could, because I like to do a slightly safer first lap and then a riskier and hopefully faster second lap. The delta is obviously up a lot because it's comparing to my out lap where I wasn't pushing at all. I had a little bit of speed loss through Ascari, so I will be losing a bit of time there, but I'm sure it's fine, and I'm sure I can definitely improve on Ascari in lap 2, right? And we round off with a pretty solid Parabolica. I have no clue what the optimal line is through here, so I kinda just do whatever I feel like. And now let's get into why I used my first lap for qualifying and how I messed up the second lap. And we're going to hop in right away at the straight, which is name I forgot. But I had a small lock-up going into Ascari over here, causing me to go wide and start losing a lot of time compared to my first lap. As you can see, I'm going down all the way, and by Parabolica I'm down at like only a 10th up. So I try to brake extra late into Parabolica, but due to the hot tires I just lock up again and I lose heaps of time, and yeah, the less said about that the better. I ended up qualifying 10th, but it's Monza, so I was not brave enough to start from the grid. And because at the time of the recording I was still a regular at Weenie Hut Juniors, I started from the pits to avoid all lap-on incidents. I come out of the pits around 3rd to last in P21, and as expected, there was a big crash into turn 1. Not too big. I go from P21 to around P19. I mean, I'm P20 right now, but right, we gotta actually look at what happened into turn 1. The race started. You can see me way in the background in the pit lane. There are a lot of gaps from the other people who started from the pits. But as you can see, the 2 cars up front just had a lockup, hit each other, and the Renault was beached on a curb after some collisions. And the blue and orange car just decided to go straight on. And it had a slowdown penalty, so I got by, and I'm up to 19th. And remember this DHL car from the left for later, or like shell car, whatever. I leave a bit more room than necessary because I hadn't realized they backed out. It's fine, I didn't lose much if at all. I get a better run than some of the cars up ahead, and there's a car stranded without any slipstream, so I was hoping to make some sort of a move. I'm sure there's not going to be any sort of incident.
Keep to the right.
Oh dear, there was an incident ahead.
Clear on the left.
Once again, I left way more
Left
space
side.
than I needed, mainly
Clear
because
on
I
the
was getting nervous at this point, just trying to survive the first few laps. Unlike these guys who had an incident, the Ferrari head had some kind of damage, I believe, and it was just wrong place, wrong time. From the further back view, you can see the Ferrari started to pull left right as the car behind started to go deep on the inside, trying to pass the slow Ferrari. And if you look at the front right of the Ferrari, it's kind of bouncing weird, so I think they did actually have like some sort of damage. And yeah, just unfortunate miscommunication. But I ended up benefiting from it, and I'm all the way up to P15. But unfortunately, I leave way too much space and get overtaken through Parabolica. I look right to see how far along they are, and they are right beside me, basically.
You're on the left, 3 wide.
And now we go 3 wide into turn 1. I'm sure this won't end in a crash.
Clear.
Yeah, no, I backed out super early because I'm not getting tangled up in that. And yep, all clean. Miraculously, I haven't been in a single incident yet. Aside from going slightly off track in a Scari, giving me 1 incident point. There are certainly some moves ahead, slowing each other down. I'm just hoping not to get caught up too much. And I'm mainly aiming to avoid incidents, but we survived the first lap, so I'm sure there won't be any incidents. And
you're in the middle.
There was a full wall.
You're on the left, 3 wide.
I had pretty much nowhere to go, and I got a 4X. At this point, I wasn't sure if I had damage or not, because it was a slightly heavier collision, and the car at the moment, it did feel a bit strained. I remember it felt like it handled weird, but after like the lap or two, I kind of just like didn't notice it anymore, and the car felt completely okay. So I got off lucky, especially in a series without fast repair. But yeah, end of lap 2, and I'm up from 21st to 12th. Made up 3 positions in that lap, and from the relative bar you can see all the people stuck in the pits with repairs.
Car stop on the left.
There's the classic turn 2 spin. I saw that a lot in actually open practice before I even joined the session. Just a lot of people push the limit on the acceleration out of the first chicane, and it's really easy to spin. But now it's time for a fight with someone who will most certainly pop up again later on in the race. I'm certainly faster in the heavy braking zones, but as you can see, they just pull away a lot through Lesmos and even a Scari later on, and certainly Parabolica. I'm mainly just faster in the first and second chicane. And yeah, they were just a lot way around the brakes than I was. But since it is Monza and it is a 1v1, I am going to get by here.
Left side.
But not for long.
Still there.
I completely fly by right next to them.
Right. Clear on the left.
But then the slipstream is swapped and
the car in
they go up the inside line.
Just set the fastest lap. 43.56.
Not yet, but once they catch up.
That was your fastest lap of the session. You're in the top 10.
Throughout this
Car
race, I noticed that every
Still
single
there, hold
time
your
two
line.
cars were side by side into turn one, the car on
Stay
the
on the
inside
left.
always
There's an
won
incident
out,
ahead. Clear.
like every single time. And as you saw, the blue car, they had a lockup earlier in the second chicane when we first like got close, and now they had a small lockup into the first chicane, and I believe they had no lockup here, but it was slowly becoming apparent that they were not as confident into the first and second chicane as I was, and later on in the race they lock up almost every single lap there. We are catching up on a slightly slower car ahead, I think. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. Oh wait, I do remember this part. There's an Apex GP car and an
Car on your left.
Apex GP car ahead, Mercedes
Keep to the
car
right.
behind, and we go.
You're in the middle.
I
Green
notice a
line.
gap and
Hold your line.
just shove my car in there. We go 3 wide. I'm
side,
technically
2 wide.
leading, but
You're in the middle.
I don't want to
3
get all
wide.
muddled up
Clear.
in it.
2 wide. The car in P.
The Mercedes
Three.
gets
Just
by
set the
me,
fastest
and
lap.
so does the Apex for a little bit,
43.062. Still there.
but I
Still there. Hold your line.
no, I believe they both stayed ahead.
Keep to the
I'm
left.
commentating this like weeks after the race actually took place, so I don't remember what happened.
Clear. Car right. Clear on the right.
Yeah, no,
Car
this
right.
is the one
Clear.
time the
Car
outside
right.
worked. I
Clear
just
on the right.
remembered. I did get by the Apex, but the Mercedes got past me, so net neutral. I don't believe much happened for a little bit. This was still the early stages of the race, so anything could happen at any time. I believe the Renault caught me. I can't remember if they started from the pits though. I think they didn't, I'm inclined to say. But I did definitely pass them during the opening lap chaos. And now they get right behind into Ascari, which is always a bit unnerving. And they take a bit too much curb, and they just get a much better run out of Ascari and grab the
Right
inside.
side. Still there. Still there. Hold your line. Clear.
At this point, the move was just done. The best I could hope to do is get my own move back and grab the position into turn 1. But they stay deep on the inside, way off the usual track limits,
to the
but
left.
not off the track limits in this game.
Still there.
And as I said, the inside line is king, so I tried to open up the
Still
corner
there.
a little bit. The cars had a slight lockup, but
Clear.
no, I just did not have enough bravery. I was not going to do a Verstappen Hamilton 2021. And we skip ahead to lap 8, and it's time for
The lead is pitting
It's
now.
time for the
That
action
car is
to
a
actually
lap
start
down.
again. There's a lapped car ahead with an HP livery, and this person was an absolutely incredible sport. It was very clear that they were like, in terms of raw pace, they were way faster. Not here though, they had a slight lockup and went off track and let me by through the first Lesmos, and it was a bit sketchy with me around the outside.
Right
I
side.
certainly felt some
Clear on
understeer
the
there,
right.
but they let me by. And for
New
they
fastest
fell
lap for
back
you.
at some point between lap 8 and lap 10, but they did catch back up again rather quickly after that. And now it's time to analyze the blue car again. Locked up a bit into turn 1, there was a little bit of smoke. And going forwards into turn 2, not turn 2. A chicane should be just considered one corner, or like one turn. It's 2 turns, but it's 1 corner, you know? But you know, they lock up again, there's noticeable smoke. So I was really starting to notice at this point that, like, if I wanted to make a pass, it was going to be into either the first chicane or the second chicane, because they were very unconfident on the brakes there. As you can see from their big lock up here, letting me catch all the way up basically. Exactly like a repeat of last lap. I believe they had another small lock up into turn 4 technically, but I consider it the second actual corner, like noticeable corner. I tried to like just unsettle them a bit. I have this racing style of just pointing my nose somewhere, not intending to go for a move, but just seeing how someone reacts to being under pressure, to know for future reference. Lap 12, they have a slightly bigger lockup, and I almost even get a move done, but I see that they bounced off the curb to the right, and I was not gonna get hit, so I turned way more to the outside than I had to, and couldn't get by. But I was way closer into the second chicane and braked early. But that early braking set me up perfectly for an attack into the first Lesmos, which I couldn't really do. It's not an actual overtaking zone unless your name's Oscar Piastri. And I just fell back because they do just have a pace advantage everywhere that isn't the true chicanes. Now this is a bit longer of a section. They have a much more like punishing mistake into turn 1, and I have a much closer exit to them, so I can actually go for a move into the second chicane, and I go on the outside of Curva Grande, and I'm just gaining, I'm on the inside, I'm a lot more confident on the brakes, and I get it done nicely. A little bit of oversteer, but pretty clean move. Now I know they're faster through Lesmos, so at this point I'm just trying to like keep it clean. I'm trying to not lose too much time on them, but they do get a run down to Ascari. And they send it down the inside. We go side by side. I take a bit too much curb and they just fly past me. It was honestly a beautiful move from them, and they just had me beat.
Car on your left. Clear.
And
Left side.
I just squeezed by going into Parabolica, but obviously it wasn't gonna last long because they were right behind me on the main straight.
Still there, hold your line.
I was a bit nervous on how to get close to them, so we almost touched a few times, and I was too focused on them, not focused enough on my braking, so I just go straight on through the chicane, go through the runoff, and sadly have to give the position back due to my time penalty. It was quite frustrating at the time, but it is what it is. It was an honest mistake from me. I get close again on lap 15. Throughout lap 15, the main goal is to just get close, try to set up some kind of overtake somewhere. I have the speed advantage going into the second chicane, but I'm just too far back. But I do have a great run out of it, and I once again poke my nose down the inside, but nothing comes of it. I was just nowhere near alongside. However, they did touch a bit of gravel, and I did manage to get a better run into Ascari. And if you look in the rearview mirror, the lap HP car is back, and despite being much faster, they were very nice and did not go for any sort of move on me, which was great because it's helping me a lot in this battle. Now comes either my smartest or dumbest move yet. I set myself up so I'm right behind going on to the main straight. I've noticed their lack of confidence on their braking, and I remember that the outside has only worked once, but the inside has worked like 10 times. So even though they have the inside covered, I decide to send it way off into the inside, just to surprise them, to spook them, and they try to go to the outside, lock up onto the grass and spin. But it ended up working, so I consider it genius. And yeah, on the next lap the HP car passes me. Didn't intervene in the attack, but they are faster, so I just kind of didn't put up much of a fight. It's not my race, and they wanted to catch P14 up ahead, but now it's the damn shell car behind again, and it is I believe this was the second to last lap, and they just got my main to Parabolica. I tried to fight back on the main straight. I got alongside.
Right side.
I definitely had the speed advantage, but I knew that the inside line advantage is quite big.
To the left.
I went late on the brakes and they backed off, which was really lucky for me.
Right.
And I managed to stay ahead for now. Unfortunately, the keyword is for now, as the battle continued throughout the rest of the race.
Car is a lap down.
A lap car let us both by.
Car is a lap down.
I don't really understand why, but I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. And I was actually putting a pretty nice gap to the car behind, but I just lost almost all of it through the Lesmos.
You have about 2 laps of fuel left.
I really struggled through there. I went a bit wide. And I was a bit slow through Ascari. I was nervous, my hands were shaking. It had been exactly 29 minutes and 55 seconds, and they just had a much better run out of Ascari. Didn't pass me through Parabolica yet, but they were gonna get by me sooner or later. And it's the white flag. Last lap of the race. All or nothing. No tire management, no fuel management. Just full push to the line.
Car right. Stay on the left.
And luckily I braked late enough
Clear.
into turn 1 for them to back off for now. Very obvious that I do not remember what happened in this race. I remember the rough ideas but not the details.
Car on your left.
They go for
Clear.
a move down into the second chicane, but I see them back off in my mirrors, so I use the full racing line. And now there's just one thought in my mind, and that is don't mess up the
You have about
Lesmos.
1 lap of fuel left.
And I don't do too bad. I get a noticeably better exit through the Lesmos, and I'm just hoping it can carry me to the end. But they are catching up
Car
fast,
in P1.
so the new
Just
thought
left the
is
fastest
don't
lap.
mess up the scoring.
42.959.
And I take too much curb. I have a bit of a slow exit. I take a bit of curb again, and they're right up on my
Left side.
gearbox. Luckily, I am on
Stay
the
on the
inside
right.
though. We are wheel to wheel, racing
Stay on
to
the
the
right.
last corner of the entire race. All 18 laps, all 30 minutes
on the
come
right.
down to this. And I'm just
Clear.
that bit too slow. They get ahead, and I don't have enough of a sprint to make any effort back.
Car on your left. Car stopped on the right. Go left.